Hey everyone, welcome back to The Road to Superman. This is the web series where we follow all the latest updates and rumours regarding the Superman reboot. This is episode 17, and today we have quite a few exciting and promising updates to get through, including comments from former Superman director Zack Snyder. But let's start with some casting news. According to The Wrap, James Gunn has found his Martha and Jonathan Kent. They have revealed that Neva Howell and Pruitt Taylor Vince have been cast in the respective roles. Now, based on their IMDb profiles, we can see both have been in quite a few movies and shows, however I don't remember seeing them in anything. But so far, I think the casting for Superman has been fantastic, and I have faith in Gunn for choosing the right people for the job here too. This is currently technically still a rumour, but if this is true, make sure to let me know your thoughts on our new Martha and Jonathan Kent in the comments below. Now, moving on to the Superman set, we got a new set photo of David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and James Gunn all reading different Superman comics. And Gunn posted this on Superman Day, and unfortunately, that was all that we had on that special day. I and many others were hoping for more than that, specifically a new look at the full Superman suit, but we got nothing, and that is quite disappointing. The last couple of weeks have been pretty quiet for DC news, and us Superman fans have been hoping to get a new sneak peek at the movie in some form. So we really have been looking for scraps, but fortunately that isn't everything we have found out recently. Justin Howell, who is the lead stunt double for Superman, has talked about his experience working on the film so far and has confirmed that production wraps in July this year. So there are only less than 3 months left of production, which is a bit surprising. This would mean production is only going on for about 5 months or so, and that is shorter than I normally expect superhero productions to last. However, I think my assumption may have been wrong because James Gunn has mentioned how long filming will last for Superman. James Gunn had mentioned he is currently editing the movie, and a fan rightfully asked a good question, and we had just as good of a response. I thought you were still filming. Is it part of the normal filming process to edit the film while still shooting? Is it to get a sense of how the film is coming together and compensate for things which are not working as intended? When shooting a movie for 5 months, it's really normal to edit. I can pick up shots if I need to, but more importantly, I can start turning shots over to VFX, so they'll be awesome by the time we lock the picture. And so we can see that he clearly mentions shooting a movie for 5 months, so it looks like Superman will end production in July. But what I also really love about his answer is something I so wish more directors said. He is editing the movie as he goes, not only to pick up shots if needed, but more importantly, so he can send over multiple shots to the VFX department so they can look great by the time the movie is locked in. He also clearly recognizes that a lot of movies recently have been released with very poor CGI because they were rushed. This is so promising to hear because it means we will get a new superhero movie that actually has high quality CGI. I've been really tired of recent superhero films looking cheap and fake. Gunn recognizing this is the first step to fixing that issue, and with him running DC Studios, I think we can expect every new DCU movie to have top-notch CGI. So that is yet another exciting thing to hear regarding the DCU and the new Superman movie. However, we now move on to a slightly confusing piece of news coming from Nathan Fillion. He was talking about how James Gunn told him he would be Guy Gardner, and he said, "We were actually at the premiere party after Suicide Squad, and he was in a huge crowd of people. We saw each other in the crowd, and I congratulated him. Oh my god, that was amazing. It's so great." He goes, "Hey, did Peter Safran tell you what we've got for you next?" I said, "No, he hasn't said." He looked around like someone was going to be listening. We were in a throng of people, but he leaned in over and said, "You're gonna be Guy Gardner." Now, this is incredibly confusing as the Suicide Squad came out out in 2021, and at the time, Gunn wasn't the head of DC, and in fact he had made it clear he wasn't interested in being head of DC or making a Superman film in the first place, and Discovery hadn't even merged with Warner Brothers yet, so the timeline doesn't make sense. Some are saying maybe Gunn was planning on having Guy Gardner in Peacemaker, but I believe that Nathan Fillion has got his parties mixed up. I think he actually meant a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 party, which Nathan also appeared in. And that would make a whole load more sense. Guardians 3 came out in mid-2023 when Gunn and Safran were co-heads of DC, so it would make sense for Gunn to tell Nathan that information in mid-2023 and for him to ask Nathan if Safran had told him their plan. And the news officially broke a few months later that Nathan Fillion would be Guy Gardner in Superman Legacy, so that timeline makes a lot more sense. Now moving on to Zack Snyder, he and James Gunn have discussed Snyder's thoughts on the DCU and Superman, and they are very interesting. So firstly, with what Snyder has said. He said, "You know, I'm a pretty open book. I feel like if the characters are treated with reverence and mythologically correct, then I'm down. I'm in. I'm pretty excited. We're going to get Superman pretty soon, so we'll see what that's like." And this is really great to hear because I'm glad the petty rivalry between Snyder and Gunn fans doesn't correlate to how the directors feel about one another. And to be honest, I feel the same way as Snyder. What he hoped for is what I hoped for. Deep respect and correct mythology. And he is pretty excited for it, and so am I. But what has Gunn said about Snyder's comments? One user asked him, "Did you see Zack Snyder is excited about the DCU?" And Gunn responded with, "I didn't, but I knew it already because he's texted me. He's been incredibly supportive throughout this process." And this is also great news. I'm really glad there are no hard feelings between them, and I love how supportive Snyder has been of Gunn throughout this time. I honestly think the fans should look at how Snyder and Gunn talk about one another and realize that this petty squabble between fan bases is so irrelevant. They really gain nothing from hating on one another. It's a childish argument of who said what first, when in reality, none of it really matters. I think we should all just focus on what we love, and if you don't like it, then you move on and focus on something else. The silly arguments on social media does nothing productive, and not even the directors have issues with one another. It's all fabricated from fans and them theorizing issues between the directors. Both have been very clear on how they feel about one another, and personally, I'm excited for what both have in store with their new movies. And hopefully, maybe one day, they can work together again on a DCU project. Now, hopefully, over the next couple of days and weeks, we can get some more Superman news. Quite a bit of this news I've talked about today came out a week or so ago, and I didn't release a video on it then as I was waiting to see if any huge piece of news came out before talking about the smaller pieces of information. But unfortunately, this is all we have had since the last episode of the series. However, I do think what we have talked about today has been interesting and promising for the new Superman movie, and it's even nice to hear Zack Snyder being excited for what is to come, like many of us are too. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!